Oh my God! Is this blue harvest jacket have blood on it?
Welcome to the Star Wars Collectors Archive podcast, hosted by Sky Payne, Fudd, and Stephen B. Danley. Wampa Wampa.
Welcome to Crabcast 118. Hey, Duncan.
Yeah, you see, you heard another voice in there. Duncan Jenkins. For the first time ever, Steve and I are not recording an intro. We're just jumping right into a normal episode with Duncan Jenkins. And so, right. You know, Duncan, we usually have this whole long preamble, right?
I do.
Yep. Well, we're doing away with it because we are going to be having a Halloween extravaganza, and it's the 27th, and I want to get it edited by the end of tomorrow. So we're not going to have a whole bunch of fancy production and drops and nugget from the archive, this or that. This is just a pure how Duncan can you get Halloween special. And Duncan! Can you get it? This is the image that I want to dominate, okay? First of all, everybody pick a Star Wars themed costume, okay? So Steve, what costume are you going to be wearing?
Let's see. I like one of these crazy, we'll talk about these, but these crazy 3PO outfits. Maybe it's called we'll get into it, but the famous characters, Halloween famous characters 3PO. I'm going to go with that.
Nice one. All right.
Okay, I'm just going to be wearing a standard Ben Cooper, Darth Vader bib with a Chewbacca mask because they got all mixed up and my parents didn't want to deal with it. So I just went out. What are you wearing, Duncan?
I'm going to be a Tusken Raider.
Okay, he's going to be a Tusken Raider. And we are, so in my family, we have this tradition. I don't know if you guys have the same tradition. After trick-or-treating, the kids get together and they lay out all of their candy on the floor. And they just stack it up and they figure out like what's their favorite candies and what's the worst, and they trade and who can wear what, who eats what with braces and who doesn't. And it's this great explosion of just consumer beauty and grossness. And the image that I want to have for the viewer is the three of us grown men, and on the floor is not candy, but a collection of items that Duncan Jenkins has picked out when we told him, hey, we're doing Halloween. You got carte blanche. Just imagine this room with the three of us all looking over Duncan's shoulder. Can you two see it?
Yeah,
I can see it.
Definitely. So I don't know about you two, but I think at a certain point when we were kids, we graduated from the buckets to just like pillow sacks for candy for volume's sake. So I brought my pillow sack and I've dumped out quite a few amazing things here, thanks to Duncan. So, yeah, I'm excited.
So we're just going to be looking at, I think every once in a while we can throw in a Halloween-themed fun thing from here and there. Because how many items do we have, Steve, here? He's given us quite a few items.
It's a lot. It's a couple pillow sacks full.
Yes, it's a couple pillow sacks full. So I have some.
Some of them are Reese's peanut butter cups, and some of them are those peanut butter nasty things that come wrapped in orange and black wax paper. So some will be good and some will be bad.
But bad is good.
Yes, we will be having a pretty good discussion of candy. You know what candy is overrated, underrated, what is most missed. But let's just get started right into it. Okay, let's just dump out the bag. And what's the first thing that we see on the floor here? What's the first thing that we see, Duncan?
Oh, well, that's good. Let's just start off with some candy then. We might as well.
Okay.
So,
all right.
and I picked out some licorice from Finland.
I will now do a visual description for those who are visually impaired. So we have Darth Vader with his arms folded, Bill McBride style. Behind him, amazingly, and we're going to get into this, is the vintage escape pod.
Yes. Okay.
On the other side is the fairly standard Emperor's Royal Guard line art. Yeah. And it says underneath Star Wars, and I can speak perfect Finnish, so Lakritspatstitsilja, Lakitspritstasta leader. So it's
pretty good.
I suppose that is the word for licorice. And you're trying to tell me this was an actual candy box, Duncan?
Yes.
Wow.
That's correct.
Oh.
And I like the fact that he's got kind of the glowing eyes and seems more Halloween-y that way as well.
Yeah. Oh.
And this is
I hate black licorice, but I love this.
Right?
And do we know what it was black licorice? We've confirmed that?
No, I do not know which type of licorice.
Well, assumedly, if it's from Europe, the rest of the civilized world loves black licorice, Steve.
I know. Oh yeah, it would make sense that it would be black licorice. But,
Okay.
And also it's Vader on the box, so yeah.
So good. So more questions now. Now that we see this glowing Vader, and they did that thing that like Marvel used to do, where like black was mostly blue. Like anyone who's supposed to have black hair in old Marvel comic books just has totally blue hair. So
yeah,
he is just a blue glowy dude, which sort of makes him seem like a Force ghost, which is pretty great.
Right.
And have we ever seen the escape pod paired with a Return of the Jedi image? It's
so random.
I mean,
It is pretty random.
It's always the Falcon. It's always the TIE pilot, the TIE fighters. Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head seeing the escape pod in the Jedi era item.
So now here comes the question that all the collectors want to know. On the back, this Emperor's Royal Guard, Duncan, it looks like it's just any old figure on the back. Are there more figures on the back?
There are.
No, don't tell me.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is I don't have a clue how many there are. They're just so hard to find.
Wow, I've never
That's
heard
the
of
best
these.
and the best and the worst situation.
Yes, exactly.
So is this the only one that you have?
So that's two of them there. That's a front and a back. On the back of the other one is Darth Vader. And then I have one other one, which I think is Stormtrooper. So I have three.
Okay.
Wow. That is quite an item. And so you just never see them? I mean, I can't even imagine how you would think to look them up.
I would guess there's probably 10, 12 of them in the set, would just be my guess. You figure you could do any kind of Jedi character, on the back. I think I've seen Lando's skiff, and I think, maybe a biker scout. It seems like I've seen a couple others.
Wow, well,
awesome.
It's going to be hard to get better than this. I mean, this is the king size candy bar that someone gave out. I did a smart thing and a dumb thing to both of you. I just mass downloaded these. I didn't look at them at all because I wanted to just be a totally fresh surprise when we saw them. So it's going to take me a second to find all these images. And because I'm going to be getting this out super quickly, I'm not going to be editing out the little dips and dops. So, okay. Well, already. So you don't like neither of you like black licorice. Is that correct?
Not a huge fan.
Nah, not really.
So then what about Good and Plenty's? Where do we stand on those?
I would take licorice over Good and Plenty.
I guess I'd probably side with Duncan there too.
Okay. Just trying to get some candy rankings.
Yeah.
Did you two know how bad of a candy habit I had in high school? I don't know if I've ever told this story on the podcast before. I built a container to keep nerds in the shower.
That's not the way I thought that sentence was going to end at all.
Right.
No, I did. And once before a concert that I played in front of Sting's daughter, as a matter of fact, I thought it'd be really fun to get 4 pounds of gummy bears and just eat them before the show, like I was like John Belushi with whiskey. I got so constipated I could barely, I could not get off the toilet to play. Like, it was like the most uncomfortable I've ever been. Okay, moving on. What's the next thing we see on the floor here, Duncan?
All right, so let's keep the candy theme going, and we can move on to the ones that are from The Empire Strikes Back. And so these would have been ones that could have been handed out at Halloween. The Rolos, the Reese's Crunchies, the Hershey's Crackles.
Right.
Okay.
These are the ones that have the movie images on the back.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are trays that would have had a collector card on the back, and then 6 or 8 candy bars inside the little cellophane wrap.
Okay, so these are the containers. These are the boxes.
Right.
And we should make a pitch. If you're ever interested in these food items, there's a great Star Wars collector page on Facebook for food items. It's one of the few places in the hobby where you will see Duncan participating online with great frequency, at least for him.
Right.
And a lot of other great guys there. Trevor McConville's there, and it's a very fun area to collect. Obviously Jonathan McElwain's there too. It's like some of the stuff is so valuable and so rare, and then some of it's so rare and not valuable, and some of it's valuable and not as rare. It's a really great place, and you see all these kinds of crazy things. So
and all the Yoda grapes too. It's the whole
So so we have Crackle, Rolo, and Reese's Crunchy. What's Reese's Crunchy? I've never heard of Reese's Crunchy.
Yeah, it would have like Rice Krispie crunchies in it.
Oh, weird. I don't know if I've ever seen those. And how do you know how many are in this set? I know, Sky, you must have the Chewbacca. I've seen that around before.
I believe I do.
Yeah. There's like a regular Hershey's and a Hershey's with almonds, and probably a regular Reese's would be my guess. I'm just going off the top of my head thinking 6 or 8, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
And so...
But these are the full-size candy bars, too. So this is kind of like when you're out trick-or-treating and you want to go to the really good places. Right. You're not getting those little cheap, fun-size stuff. You get the full-size candy bars.
Yes. Fun means cheap.
Very euphemistic, right?
Okay, so then, so if we were to put together a complete run of these, Duncan, I'm sure you thought about this. So how many would you end up having? If there are 6 different variations of candy trays, Crunchy, Rolo, Crackle, Hershey bar, etc. Mr. Goodbar is one of them, right? If you were to...
whatchamacallit, Mr. Goodbar, yeah.
Okay, so you have all those. And then how many different...
The beautiful thing is that each box only has one card unique to it.
Okay, because I was thinking
that's a little bit of sanity. A little bit of sanity here.
Some kind of crazy exponential thing. I'm sorry. I'm in my newly refinished basement, which is beautiful, except apparently whenever someone takes a shower, it sounds like they're in my brain. So I'm going to be turning my microphone off and on, Steve. You're going to have a little bit more control here. Okay, so that's why I do have the Chewbacca, but that's only on Mr. Goodbar, I believe.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, you believe? It's Hershey with almonds. Numb nuts. Or, numb almonds.
Okay, so what do we see next while I mute myself here?
Let's see. Let's take a look at something that's really scary now. So it's time for something that's a little scarier. And we've got the something that looks kind of like a genetics mutations gone wrong of the swapping of body parts and all kinds of good horror film type of thing with our little rubbery Star Wars characters, bootlegs, obviously.
Oh, these guys.
Okay, I see. I think that the noise has quieted down here, fortunately. So again, for the visually impaired, by that I mean people who don't watch the show on YouTube or visual. So we have 4 rubber figures.
Yes, they are rubber.
Okay.
You're really challenging me here, Duncan. Okay, so we have what appears to be Clawful from He-Man. Went into the Fly with Jeff Goldblum container with the Stormtrooper, and this was a Stormtrooper Clawful hybrid. We have R2-D2 with a gun just straight out of his head. We have what appears to be Mr. T and Darth Vader mixed up together. I think there's like gold chains around Darth Vader's neck. Very clearly that. And then we have Greedo on top of an R2-D2 with claw arms.
It's like a crab robot Greedo. Yeah, I don't know. These are they are pretty scary. So where were these from again?
The United States. But they're obviously bootlegs, and they would have been in like vending machines.
Ah, okay. Like at the grocery store or whatnot.
Right.
Okay.
And what years were these?
No, they would have been, probably late 70s, so pre-Empire, but 78, 79 would be my guess.
Okay. And how well are these documented, or do we have a name for these? Are they called something?
I don't know what if anyone has given them a name other than horrors or something along those lines. So.
Well, maybe
they come in multiple colors too, so that's the fun thing too. It's like there's a green, a blue, a red, and a yellow for each one of these.
And this is a complete set?
Well, there's also an R5D4 that has just kind of like a little propeller that's coming out of the top of, I guess we could call it like saws or something like that if we want to keep it in the horror theme. But he was a lot less scary, so I didn't add him into the mix.
Okay.
Well, I like that because sometimes you'd get the Joker who would hand out like a little tiny toy or something. I will say, so we've already talked about the large size candy bar as a hero of Halloween. The true hero is whatever sadist hands out those wacky sticky hands, because you put one of those in the hands of a sugared up Sky Payne, and it is just an entire night of pelting what is left of my friends with those little sticky hands. That's one of the I have a very fond memory of a Halloween playing with those sticky hands. So.
Oh yeah, those are great and terrible, both.
Right.
I actually got one of those at Albertsons in Goleta, Steve.
Oh yeah.
yeah, near where we lived, and I remember I was. The kids wanted to play with it, but I was too busy like taking things off the shelf. And they're like, "This adhesive really works."
This fond memory wasn't from your childhood; it was just
yeah. Young at heart, Steve.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we've had black licorice, we've had American candy. You really helped me to feel better, Duncan, because you had me very scared when you talked about how there were 6 different kinds of those boxes, and then I thought,
right.
Do I have to get 6 different kinds of Chewbacca cards? And I've only ever seen one, and I bought it from Duncan. Okay. Wow. All right. So
yeah.
We're just plowing through these, Steve. I think it's a good idea.
Which crypt are we going to open now?
Okay, that was the other idea, Steve.
Well, we got to do some decorating.
What was to call Duncan the Crypt
Oh,
Keeper.
yeah.
But...
No, not call Duncan the Crypt Keeper, but I like the tales from the Sithsonian Crypt. Yeah, but, I like different.
There you go. Yeah.
Different tombs, because you have kind of groupings of things here, so that's another way to look at it. Because you got your candy and your scary items, and then you got costumes, and I like the idea of different doors that we're opening.
Okay, then I have an alternate image. Okay, Steve and I are in our homemade Chewbacca and B-wing pilot costumes, and we're trick or treating as kids, right? And both Steve and I were both like a little heavier as kids, so you can imagine us as kind of cute, roundish kids with our candy and stuff. And like and then Duncan sees us, and he's like an adult, and he's like, "Oh, so you like Star Wars? Come to the Sithsonian Crypt and see my Star Wars toys." And I walk in there instantly, and Steve's like, "Should we really do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so it's like an '80s Goonies style movie, like where we go down these stairs, and Duncan has this whole awesome Star Wars thing set up for us. How's that as an image?
I like
That's
it.
a good one.
Okay.
And listening to what your parents say about following men into strange basements or something.
Yes.
As long as it's Star Wars toys, that's right.
Right, you're okay.
I have a story about that, which I'll get to later. Remind me of the time I almost got Silence of the Lambs. Okay, so all right, so what's next here?
All right, well, let's do some decorating, and I just threw in this C-3PO mobile. It's kind of a piece together. But he reminds me of those skeleton displays.
From the
pose and
from the 50s. Yeah, we have one of those on our bathroom door. That's exactly what I thought of when I saw this.
Okay, so for our visually impaired viewers, listeners here, this is it's a mobile. So it's a flat mobile, like you might have in your second grade teacher's classroom with a skeleton and it's smiling. But instead of it being different bones, it's different segments of C-3PO's body with his knees. And it's a very cool, simplified, stylized C-3PO. It has the restraining bolt on there. It has another bolt next to the restraining bolt. I don't know what that's supposed to be. His stomach guts are very light. Like the colors are very vibrant. And his eyes, he is Babu Freak red. Like this is the first black C-3PO I think we've ever seen.
He's also got a little grin too, which I like.
Yeah. So tell us more. First of all, how big is this thing?
It's about 3 feet. I think it's about 3 feet long.
Right. Oh, Steve, that's what you hit your head on when we walked into the crypt here. You were like, "What is this thing?" And then Duncan explained it to you before promising you even more licorice.
That's right.
Well, okay, so it's about 3 feet. Wow. And how, I mean, where does this come from? How does this exist? What is going on, Duncan? How do you have so much Star Wars stuff that I've never... Even Chris Georgoulias, I don't think will listen to this and go, Sky, how did you not know about this? Like,
Right.
What is this?
So this is from Spain, and one of the very real early pieces that came out of that country. The licensee is something like, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's like Mantatel or Mantatil, or I can't remember how you spell it or pronounce it, but it's something along those lines.
Okay.
And they did two things. They did this, and they did a perpetual calendar of Arturito that was also in cardboard and flat.
Okay.
Wow. And these are just really rare and just no one ever sees them, or? Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, the only other C-3PO I've ever seen, one of the only perpetual calendar I've ever seen, were both thieves, Sansweets, hanging on his wall in his office for the longest time.
Okay, so this is the part where Steve and I just start whispering to him so that you can't hear us, Duncan. Steve, are you going to ask him what a perpetual calendar is? Because I don't have any idea. Do you know what it is, Steve?
Not exactly, but I have an image in my head, but no.
Is that how he's saying he's not going to let us out of here, Steve? It's a perpetual calendar?
What do they teach you kids in school these days?
So what is a perpetual calendar?
Well, if you had to guess, what does perpetual... So it's a calendar that you can use all the time. And so...
Adjust things so that
so it's kind of like you get different kinds, but like if you've ever... have just like a calendar that's just all numbers that you can move around and put them on the different days of the week so that each month you got it right or whatever. And this one I think was like a spinning dial that you would turn and the window would show you what day matched up and what month and that sort of thing. So you could just kind of rotate it.
Wow.
Got it.
And that's the calendar that tells us that the world was going to end in 2012.
Yes, I think that was exactly what the Aztecs were using.
You see, Duncan and Steve, I have a perpetual Star Wars calendar. It's the 1984 Ewoks calendar that I had as a kid, and we hang it up in my house, and we just change the month every month, and the dates are totally off. And I put, it has like little stickers for good day, bad day, best day. I don't remember why those days were great in 1984, but that's my perpetual calendar. Wow, well, this thing is really awesome. Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Definitely has the vibe of those classic Halloween hanging decorations. That's great.
And we don't know, it was fully licensed.
Yes.
It's just so bizarre. All these things that were licensed, because it seems that Lucasfilm was sort of like giving out licenses like chiclets. Speaking of candy, but then other times they seemed really in control. I mean, this is totally off. Like with him smiling, having a different face, it's totally off, right? I don't think that Lucasfilm would be happy with this item.
Yeah, it was definitely back, from the first movie when everything was a little looser and everything kind of got to do their own, got to have a little more leeway. They didn't have just the line art like we saw for the Jedi LIquorice. Here you are in Finland suddenly, and you're using the exact same thing that's on a watch in the United States. It's just so, uniform at that point. But especially for the first film, it tended to be a little more wild, wild west out there. So that was fun.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, hi.
Awesome.
Steve, what's this thing over here? This is weird.
It could be said of many things. What thing is
what is this weird? Oh, cool. They have one of the magazines that one of the Scholastic magazines we have at school.
So, yeah, you guys were talking about one of those not too long ago, and I think it was with Ron?
Yes. Yeah. In his blog post, that's right.
Okay, so we're talking about a Scholastic News Explorer, and it's orange. It's just a single color orange with black and white printing, and it says Halloween is a howl for this monster. And it's from October 27th, 1977, which means I was a month and 2 weeks old when this came out. So that's pretty fun.
Wow.
So special issue on Halloween horrors. So who is this monster on the front, Duncan?
So that's Rick Baker.
That's actually Rick Baker, the man?
That is actually Rick Baker, yes.
Wearing one of his creations?
Well, he's wearing a T-shirt that says Rick Baker on it. So he's kind of like Mike Love of
Right.
the Beach Boys, who wears a Mike Love hat. I mean, a Beach Boys
Yeah,
hat.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
Wow.
Rick Baker, but who's he dressed up as?
He's dressed up as the devil guy from the Cantina, or if you're
Yes.
into the modern naming, what they call them, Devronians or something like that.
Wow. So and when you open this up, Duncan, does it say that it's from Star Wars, or is it just some
Yes.
random devil?
Yeah, so it and it also has another picture of like the big fuzzy guy that rubs his proboscis in the cantina, the
Oh,
towels or muftak, as they call him these days.
Wow. And so it never mentioned Star Wars. So is this? What do you think, Steve? Is this even a Halloween item? I mean, a Star Wars item?
See, when I saw this, I immediately thought like, oh man, I think this is what I want to use for our image for the
Yes.
for the episode. It is like perfect. It is perfectly Star Wars and Halloween as far as I'm concerned.
But I love it. There was a way in which the monstrous nature of Star Wars characters and aliens and all of that, you could just use them anywhere. And definitely, I wonder how many kids. That's what I'd love to know. How many kids saw this and were like, "Oh man, that's the guy from the Cantina," right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
But I thought the devil was
If it would have
added.
been 77, you figure it probably would have been fairly obvious to some.
To some,
yeah.
to those that
Yeah,
saw the movie a
others
lot,
not
probably.
much. Right.
Yeah. 'Cause you only see those guys for like a second, right? Like they get a little bit of time, but yeah.
Oh, Steve.
Well, yeah, and you figure some people could have seen it 50 times by then, too. So.
That's true.
Oh, Steve, you remember this? Old man Duncan says it's true. Remember, I got this, and I told you this is from Star Wars, and you said it wasn't, and everyone got around me, and they made fun of me because when we opened it up, it didn't say Star Wars on the inside. But I'm like, that's Star Wars. Look, that other guy's from Star Wars too. It's from the Cantina, and I started singing the song, and I peed in my pants, and everyone laughed at me. Steve.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Clear as day.
So I was right on that one.
Yeah. No, this
Well done.
is great.
Yeah, this is super fun. Quick, what is the most overrated candy in your opinion, Steve?
Overrated?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not big on M&Ms.
Oh wow. That's
Well, I guess the classic M&Ms.
yeah. No, that's wild. That qualifies. Duncan, do you have a most overrated candy?
I don't know. I think maybe like pixie sticks or something.
Those are both some very good candies, you guys. I'm definitely
That's
gonna
sugar,
yeah.
right?
I'm gonna go with Milky Way. I just
Oh yeah.
I think
Oh, interesting,
but
yeah.
a lot of people don't like Milky Way, so I'm not quite as shocking
Mil-
as you guys.
That's one of those ones though that I will only eat it around Halloween. Like there's certain
Yeah.
candies that I might eat throughout the year, but Milky Way, I'm like, oh yeah, I like these in this very specific point in time, and then I forget about them for a year. That's the way I think of those.
And we've had a problem around here where we got a lot of candy for Halloween, but we're redoing the kitchen, so we're like all hanging around in the basement, and like things have been fairly stressful. My job is pretty difficult, and I don't really drink and I don't smoke or do drugs or whatever. So candy is, as has already been discussed, one of my primary ways I can just sort of like consume and soothe myself. So we're like on our second bag of Halloween candy that we're supposed to give out, and I'm like halfway through it, like popping Whoppers.
Yeah.
So-
Do
I have
you
to
still
lock that
have
away.
the do you still have the one in your shower that holds all the
Yeah,
nerds?
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I took one of those like the holders for markers, like an 8-pack of markers, and I taped that to the wall of the shower, and then I put the nerds in there, and then I'd put the flap over so that they wouldn't get rained on.
You should have patented it.
Yeah, I should have.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh,
right.
cool, Steve. Look at this weird little guy. Look, it's one of those. Is this an Ewok? I can't. He's like a weird dark brown Ewok with, and I think it's Wicket with a green cowl. And what's up with his eyes, Steve?
They don't look right.
Are those googly eyes?
They are googly. See, I didn't realize they were googly eyes until I opened the file full. Okay, there we go.
What's the story with this,
so-
Duncan?
Yeah,
So I figure he's kind of like our crazed homicidal killer Ewok there.
I like that.
But
yeah,
Mexican bootleg that they did several of the Ewoks with the googly eyes.
Okay.
And they're static. They're not articulated at all, except for the googly eyes. They figured was more important than having arms and legs that moved.
Oh, that's such a brilliant move. That's great. I feel like I've seen some of these creepy looking Ewoks that have like the fangs and things like that. I don't remember seeing the googly eyes. So that's great.
And where's this from, Duncan?
Mexico.
Okay, so it's like a hard rubber Mexican bootleg?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. Very, very beautiful. Steve, you keep on our little play. How are you gonna pretend to be down in Duncan's crypt?
All right, let me pick something here. I don't know if this is in here by mistake, but oh my God, does this blue harvest jacket have blood on it? Oh my God, does this blue harvest jacket have blood on it? Oh my God, does this blue harvest jacket have blood on it?
It does look like blood on there, yeah. But yeah, if it's raining outside, I figure we need our little raincoat. So we put a Blue Harvest raincoat. Anybody want to take a guess as to why we put Blue Harvest in with the Halloween stuff?
Well, before we get there, for our visually impaired viewers, so this is the Blue Harvest logo. Blue Harvest being the fake name that they gave to Return of the Jedi.
Right.
And it always rains on Halloween, at least my whole life. Like, I've always feel like
Same
it rains
here.
all the time. So I definitely, it's like, hey, I got this great costume. I'm just kidding. I'm wearing a jacket. So,
and that was always so lame too, because then you had to wear like a raincoat over your costume, and it's just stupid.
Yeah. So yeah, and it looks a little bit like is it Bruce Willis's character from Unbreakable?
Oh yeah, Unbreakable. Yeah.
Stay alive, damn it. Okay, so and then there's a little bit of red on there. So why, Duncan? Why is there a Blue Harvest? First of all, I know there's Blue Harvest T-shirts. I've never seen a Blue Harvest raincoat. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and it came with the rain pants too. So you got the full Gordon fishing look to it.
So why does this exist? Didn't they film it all in the desert?
No, this is for the indoor scenes that would have been in Crescent City, up in Northern California, where it rains a little bit more often than Yuma.
Wow.
So you remember what the tagline for Blue Harvest was?
Oh, it was
Horror Beyond Imagination?
Yeah.
That's why.
Horror Beyond Imagination, so that's why it's there. Boom.
There you go.
You see this is why, Steve, you agree to go down that long stairway to get into the Sithsonian's Crypt. This is why you ask. This is why you just say carte blanche. We're not going to do anything else this episode. We're not going to talk about tri-logo variations of reuse. We're just gonna we're just gonna fool Duncan as much as we possibly can. I think I saw actually right underneath that Scholastic thing, another weird pile, in this whole pile of papers here. There's this picture of Jabba the Hutt and a whole bunch of weird writing.
Yeah, so another magazine here. And this is the World's Wildest Monsters magazine. Also from Finland. So we could be eating our licorice, looking through the World's Wildest Monsters magazine. This is issue number 1. And even more important, it's in 3D.
Wow.
I like the little 3D glasses here.
Yes.
So the image has a large image of Jabba the Hutt, who, by the way, was awesome in the new Dune movie. If you haven't seen it, he was really, really good.
Yeah.
You don't even know that he's a Swedish actor under there. You just wow, Jabba is so good. So then it has in red text, Hirviot, and it says 1985, and Hui Tatsten Sota. And the best part is in the bottom left corner, there's an image of a 3D glasses. And I don't know if you are like I was, if you were like I was, but if there was anything in 3D, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. No matter how lame it always was, no matter how disappointing that stupid red and blue drawing was, I just thought it was the coolest possible thing.
Yeah, there was something about putting those crappy paper glasses on that
Right.
gave you some kind of power. Yeah.
It's come a long way since then. But
So
yeah,
have
those
you
were really
opened
fun.
it up and seen what's in there?
Yes, so it's all posters.
Okay.
The entire magazine is basically just pull-out posters, and they're all Star Wars. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're like
Yeah, I guess they
3D posters?
Uh-huh.
cool.
Wow.
So I guess
Black
Jabba-
light going, and yeah.
yeah. I mean, Jedi they really kind of pushed the whole monster thing with Jabba's palace and all that. It makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And
I don't know if subsequent issues were non-Star Wars themed, if they went out of business after the first issue and didn't ever do any more. It's the only one I've ever seen, so I don't know.
Well, Steve, so we're friends and we're in elementary school and everything. And I know it's weird, but you know how people give each other cards for Halloween? We all do that, right? That's a thing we've always done. Halloween cards?
Forever. It's always been a thing.
It's an American tradition. It's what you do. Easter, Valentine's Day, Halloween. It's just what we do. So it's a little bit weird for me to give you this orange bordered picture of Luke Skywalker shooting a gun from the famous Factors image and have it say, "For an out-of-this-world son." But I couldn't find one that said, "For an out-of-this-world friend."
Right.
But if you open it up, you'll see the little message on the inside. You want to open up and read that for me, Steve?
Sure. So oh wow, how nice. May your deflector shields protect you this Halloween.
Yes. So
these are so good.
As you may or may not know, Duncan, Steve's name in fantasy baseball is Delino Deflector Shields. So
That's awesome.
yes, it's a
It's the
pretty
only good thing I can bring to the fantasy league.
Oh, seeing as we're not gonna have a normal
Okay.
episode, we can finally tell it now. Steve, I beat you at fantasy baseball. I came in last, so you can't even lose right. That's how much I
can't
beat you.
even lose right.
Can't even lose right. But yeah, so may your deflector shields protect you this Halloween. Which, okay, so like the scares about Halloween poisoned candy and razors and stuff had already happened for quite a while. Speaking
Right.
of which, if you haven't seen the new Candyman, that's maybe the best movie of the entire year, and they talk a little bit about that in that. Yeah, and so it's weird. May your deflector shields protect you this Halloween. It's just kind of a menacing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little too close to reality there,
I
isn't it?
think so. Yeah.
I was once I don't know I think it was Halloween. Someone drive-by shot me with a paintball gun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was terrible. I was walking back from the center of town with my friends, and I did like barrel rolls and like hid behind bushes after that. Like I was so freaked out. Oh yeah. So
That is terror.
I should have had my deflector shields up, Steve. Now, did you get me a Halloween card, Steve? Because everyone gets Halloween cards.
Yeah. Well, so they didn't. I did find one that had Chewbacca on it for you.
That's my favorite character.
Yeah.
I looked for a B-wing pilot, but I know that you consider Luke Skywalker to basically just be a failed B-wing pilot.
Yeah. So what do you think about this Chewbacca one here?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's got Chewbacca in front of a full moon with bats all around his head.
At least there's some Halloween-y stuff, like a little bit of flair here with.
And,
Instead of just reusing the Luke image off of the poster, right?
Right. Yeah.
and it says, "Do not fear, your Wookiee friend is here."
Yeah.
And here's a question for you, Duncan. At some point, I'm going to ask you to help me on one of the craziest tasks we could possibly have. When was Chewbacca's age standardized, and when was Wookiee standardized? Because there is officially made stuff with one E, and he goes between 100 and 200 all the way throughout the vintage era. So someday, if you have some spare time, just go through your entire collection and just see every single time that Chewbacca is referred to as either 100 or 200. I feel like Wookiee was almost never spelled correctly this early, right? Or when was this from? Was this Star Wars era?
This is from 77 or so, yeah. And so it even has the little trademark on there, so they've already trademarked it too.
Yeah.
But it is kind of interesting because you think about those early things. So there was a lot of laser swords and Wookiee with one E, and the Jedi wizards, and there's just a lot of things that aren't androids for the R2 and 3PO, and so just droids. And so they definitely didn't have it as standardized as they eventually got there.
Well, I want to say, Steve, it was very nice of you to give me this Chewbacca card, because I was at the store when I was trying to pick them out, and I see Duncan has them here as well. He has this weird old dude has a very interesting collection. So the Chewbacca one is the only really interesting art, because it's, I have this in the Museum, but never really fully appreciated it in context with the rest of the cards, because he's like holding up his finger and he's like talking to you. It's a totally unique pose, a totally unique drawing. Whereas when we get to other ones with a similar background of space, full moon, and bats, Vader is just in his exact factors poster,
like a recreation,
pose, recreation. I mean, it's drawn, and so is C-3PO. I mean, C-3PO at least has like a little eyes wide shut mask to put on.
And you know what, though? I feel like the 3PO that fits just right. Like I think the 3PO is up there with the Chewie.
Yeah, because
the masquerade.
Okay. We all know that C-3PO is going to an orgy, right? There's no other place C-3PO would be going on Halloween. I know it's very weird for me to say. I'm just a kid in elementary school hanging out with my friend Steve here.
Right.
Yeah. Well, did I manage to get to all the? Oh no, I didn't even get to all the cards. Now, Steve, you and I have a similar problem, which is we don't know how to talk to girls even a little bit.
No,
I won't learn until. Anyways, so what we'll do. What I thought would be cool. So there's a girl that I like, and I thought if I gave her this card, she'd like it. But it's kind of weird because I call her my daughter. It says for an out-of-this-world daughter. And don't feel bad because they reused the text from for an out-of-this-world son. And they used the image of Princess Leia from the Factors poster as well.
Yes.
But what do you think? Do you think when she opens it up and she sees intergalactic wishes, she'll know that I want to be more than just friends?
I mean, it could go either way. Intergalactic wishes. I feel like it's pretty safe.
Yeah,
pretty safe.
Is she a Beastie Boys fan?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. You never know. I think you're safe going with that one, Scott.
Yeah. Out of this world daughter. Okay. So did Factors make these? Who made these cards?
Drawing board.
Okay, yeah, we've seen a lot of drawing board stuff, right? They did the bookmarks as well.
They did a lot of things like that. Yep, exactly. Yeah. The memo pads and invitations, right?
I feel like there's an Obi-Wan Kenobi one of these as well. I feel like I had one of those.
Yeah, I didn't. Correct. I didn't send you the photo of that one. But same thing with the kind of the moon behind it and the lightsaber, and
that's right.
Well, that's cool. I guess Stephen, I thought you were a completionist, but it's okay. I send pictures of everything.
That's right.
So that would be another question you could just settle for us, just for fun. How would you rank the number of items made by different Star Wars licensees?
Topps is number one.
Yeah, so it'd be Topps, and then Kenner, and then
probably Kenner Hasbro. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
After that, maybe Adam Joseph's did a lot.
Oh yeah. Those are the big three.
Would be a big one. Applause did a lot of the modern stuff.
Well, just have numbers for us by tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, yeah. I'll put it into a spreadsheet for you. We can cross-tabulate based by year and geographic location.
I can't really decide on a character here, Steve. Am I my usual acerbic, pushy podcast host, or am I a kid who's deciding to hang around in the Sithsonian instead of trick-or-treating? I don't know.
Why just be one?
That's true. So what is your most underrated candy? The candy that other people don't like that you're really psyched whenever you end up with it in the bottom of your pillowcase?
Maybe those malted milk ball things. What are those called?
Whoppers.
Whoppers, yeah.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, this right here, that's the Whopper
There you go.
I ate right before.
Kind of like Steve was saying, it's one of those things I don't ever think about for the rest of the year. But it's good for Halloween for sure.
I also love it because my son used to always call them whoopers. So
Whoopers.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to go either Sweet Tarts or Smarties. That's only Halloween time only. I feel like most people don't care for those, but I could. It's probably not safe for me to be around too many Smarties. I could eat them way too fast.
What I like to do is I like to take the package of Smarties, open them up, and then break the stack into half and put one into each side of my mouth, and then just crack them down
it's an awful, horrible, but
like a
great
Las Vegas casino, just like being imploded. Like I just wanted to take it all day, and then it becomes like this fine sugar that just gets mainlined into my vein, and it makes me feel like I'm a man.
Dr. Pepper and Smarties, horrible, just disgusting. But when you're like 7, it's great. All right. Let's see. So where are we in the crypt right now? I think we've gotten lost.
Well, it's kind of dark, so we need to light our jack-o'-lantern, and we'll pull out a little matchbook here. Light up our jack-o'-lantern there.
Oh, okay.
And the matchbook happens to be Star Wars also.
Wait, there's a matchbook?
That's a matchbook.
I didn't even see it. Where's the matchbook? What's on the front of it?
It's got the Star Wars A art on it, yeah.
Okay. It's got
that's a matchbook? I thought that was like Morinaga candy or something. Okay. So
that was from Taiwan.
A Taiwanese matchbook. Okay.
Yeah.
So here I go describing the Taiwanese matchbook. Thank you, Duncan. You are making me really practice my description skills. We have the standard Tom Young Star Wars Luke and Leia art, with Vader in the background. I would say a non-standard usage of a TIE fighter and an X-Wing in front of Vader, right? You don't usually see that breaking up the weird T of Luke's lightsaber. Then there's a whole bunch of writing, and then so 3/4 of this is taken up, or about 3/4 of it's taken up with that image, and then the very bottom there is the Sand Trooper on the dewback. Mm-hmm. And then within that rectangle, in the upper right corner, like so small it's smaller than most of the writing on the box, is Luke looking off into the sunset. Like, this is the worst design I have seen on anything. It's like bad clip art or like Microsoft Paint or something.
But see, what's great is on the inside. That's where it really gets scary.
Oh my god! So if we open this up. And what's cool is that most adults don't let us play with matches, Steve. But this Duncan guy, he's awesome. So on the inside, it just gets even weirder. So we have, is that the C image? What is that? The image from Star Wars of Luke pointing the gun right at your face, and Luke and Leia and Han off to the side. It's the front of the poster book by Vilmer and Sansweet. Yeah, which is how the only thing I think of when I see this image. Yeah. And then on the other part of this matchbook is a woman's face being consumed by, wait a second, just if you haven't seen this, just think about what her face is consumed by. Did you guess bees? Bees? Yes. Bees. Why is her face being consumed by bees, Duncan?
Well, I think it's the Amityville Horror, isn't it?
Yeah, see, there's a little in the upper right, there's a little Columbia Pictures logo. So this is like, it's a dual advertisement. So you get the Star Wars and the Amityville. horror in
So
one.
that's why Unky Duncan brought us down here, Steve,
Uh-huh.
was to
It's
show
scary.
us, because it's a scary movie, so it is all tied into
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yes.
Exactly. I'm not sure which one, but I think it's Amityville Horror, but I could be wrong on that. So.
Yeah. I've only seen that once. I think you're right.
They had a lot of things with flies, but
Yeah,
I don't
it
remember
was.
bees. But yeah,
And maybe these
Anyway.
might be.
somebody will know.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just for fun. I'm going to if I have Ron's new number, I do. I'm going to text this to Ron because he's.
I was going to say there is someone who will know.
He is
right
an
away.
expert on this kind of stuff, so I will just ask him. Okay, 1 second. Good, and then I'm going to title this Ron question. Okay, I don't want to save it as a PNG. I'm going to save it as a JPEG. Okay, yeah, it's definitely some kind of horror movie from Columbia Pictures. So, okay. I'm going to say, what is this? I'm just going to send him this image and then ask him, what is this? And we'll see if he can answer. Now, out of curiosity, Duncan, because point of clarification, Ron responded fairly quickly to tell us that it is not the movie The Amityville Horror, but instead a TV movie called The Savage Bees. Beads? It stars Paul Hecht, Horst Buchholz, Ben Johnson, and it follows a swarm of killer bees threatening people during Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Oh my God, I have to see this movie. The Savage Bees. Wow. Good Lord. The 70s, huh? This is pretty amazing and super fun. Did this take you 10 minutes or 10 hours to put all these things together?
Oh, to put all this stuff together?
Yeah.
About an hour or so.
Yeah, awesome. Because I'm having a lot of fun trying to, I was like, okay, I sort of get the matchbook. I mean, he's just trying to show off some weird thing. I didn't see that there's an inside to it, and then you open it up and it all comes together. It's not just for lighting the jack-o'-lantern.
That's right.
What's that weird sound, Steve? Is that like some music in the background that we hear, not just the heat that's really loud in my basement? It's a 45.
There we go. I see it.
A 45 RPM record, a little single. How am I going to describe this? Okay. It appears to be by an artist named Lazaro, whose name is written out in this kind of 70s bubble font. It says it's H.O. and Mexico, so it's apparently a Mexican artist. It has this guy who appears to be wearing a gi, and he has a tragic 70s haircut. Above him and to the right, mind you, this is in a rocky setting, I suppose, to evoke Tatooine, is a robot which does not look even close to a Star Wars robot. It's like two cardboard boxes put on top of each other. It looks a little bit like maybe one of the robots from the Daft Punk video to Around the World. It's got very baggy pants. But the thing that brings this all together, Steve, is the name of this song, which is Arturito Erdos Dedos. So R2D2 is spelled out in Spanish phonetics, and then R2D2 is spelled out, which would be Erdos Dedos, right, Steve?
Right, yeah.
So wow, I thought I'd seen all the music that there's ever been here, but instead we have this super weird song. What is this song?
Well, like you've described it, it's a Mexican artist doing his version of R2D2. I've not actually heard it, but it's pretty scary, so that's why it's included.
Yeah, you might not want to play this record. Some bad things might happen if you do.
Right, exactly.
Well, I'm looking on YouTube to see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Okay, Lazaro, R2, Lazaro Salazar, R2. Okay, all right. Lazaro, Arturito, Star Wars Rare Funk Disco. We ready to hear it?
Let's go.
I think we're all gonna die now. Anyone?
Exactly.
I like it. There's words.
I love it. Oh.
Okay, that's about as much as I can
All
take.
right.
That's
Yeah,
really
so-
cool. I understood a lot of
Yeah.
it, Steve. Did you?
I got some of it. Some of it was hard for me to make out. But
Yeah.
what's the gist of the lyrics?
It's just all about Arturito. Like he's like this really nice guy, and he sleeps over here and goes over there, and then when he talks, it sounds like this.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
we're all-
forth and say this makes its way into the pantheon of best Star Wars songs that there are.
It's got to be up there, doesn't it?
It's really great. It's not the only song though that I feel like listening to. I feel like now that we've listened to that, is there another song, Steve, you think we should listen to?
Oh no! I see. We have an 8-track here.
Yes.
It's entitled Star Wars, but everything else does not say Star Wars to me. Sky, what is going on this 8-track?
I think
Caleb's.
The Caleps?
Uh-huh.
Caleps?
Caleps.
So
Kind of a 70s rock group. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So okay,
Disco
good.
group.
I can describe it. So it's
Yeah.
it's okay. It's an 8-track, which if you don't know, looks a little bit like a large Atari cartridge. If that's a
Right.
frame of reference you might get, and for our audience, they'll understand that if they don't understand 8-track. And it says 8-track. So it's got this yellow band and then a red band and then a picture. And then the yellow band has 8-track stereo. Star Wars has Star Wars written in a font that is just absolutely no one's ever seen before with Star Wars. And then it just says the Caleps, which I don't know. I think they might be an Italian band based on something I just saw right here on YouTube while looking them up. But to describe these guys, okay. They are all wearing beautiful black hair, just
Yes.
helmet-headed black hair.
Couple of mustaches.
They're all wearing very tight silver, basically Mylar suits, but with cleavage down to their belly button, and it's I've never even heard of this. What's the story behind this?
Everybody wanted to jump in on the Star Wars bandwagon, and everybody had a way of doing Star Wars songs. So even the popular Caleps decided to do a version of Star Wars. So did you find them on YouTube?
I have not found Caleps.
Okay, bummer. I was
The only thing
curious.
that
But yeah, they
that
look
I
like
found is
Donnie.
yeah.
I was gonna say, like, if Donny Osmond was cloned a whole bunch of times, then you would have this group. Or some Donny Osmond and Freddie Mercury had a bunch of kids.
I mean, on Anthony D'Amato's site, Restraining Bolt, they have another image of it. So
Okay.
it appears to be a different version. So, and you've never listened to it.
I have not.
Maybe this is the killer right here, not R2D2.
Yeah.
My 8-track player in my Camino Royale is not working. So,
And so, why is this on
El
here?
Camino.
Why is
Yeah.
this on here, Duncan? How does this tie into Halloween, or you just couldn't stop yourself?
Yeah, so those are just things that are scary in quotes, and that's the only things that. So I just picked out a few versions of album covers that were kind of funny / scary.
Unsettling.
Yes, very unsettling.
Okay.
And then maybe the most unsettling one is the Italian Ewok celebration there.
Oh,
Okay, so this is we're going out of the 8 track and into another 45 single.
Yeah.
I do collect some music memorabilia, so this would be really interesting. So it has, what is that font? Like the 80s font that's trying to look fancy. I forget the name of it.
Right.
But
it's like on the catalogs, and like it's very
Yeah, it's sort of New Yorker-y. And,
yeah.
And so it says Ewok Celebration and Star Wars, and it has a picture of the most budget. What was the name of your Ewok again, Steve?
Swinga.
Yeah, Swinga is way better produced than these Ewoks. We have like 3 identical looking brown Ewoks and 1 darker brown Ewok, and they're like hanging onto a tree, and they're all shielding their eyes. Like I can't tell what they're doing.
Strangely like my backyard. That's the thing that's creeping me out. Like, were these things actually outside my backyard the whole time? Because it looks like our backyard.
Is
from
this
our
Swinga?
Old house. Yeah, God.
This is probably what we looked like coming up to his door, you know?
Probably, yeah.
Right. I mean, these are grown adults, too, that are dressed up like in these just terrible outfits.
Yeah.
It's
like...
okay, so you know how there's that, like, mistaken belief that you can, like, force someone out of homosexuality, like, in a conversion camp or whatever, right? Right. I'm going somewhere with this. Okay.
I'm curious where you're going with this. Okay.
Okay. So there's a belief by some people that if someone's gay, then you send them to like a certain kind of religious camp, and then you can convert them and like fix them. Right? It's been proven by science and by empirical evidence that it doesn't work. However, if you happen to have a furry in your life and you want to cure them of furriness, I think if you show them this album cover, they will just say, I'm done. I'm no longer into people in costumes. I've seen the error of my ways. I didn't think it was weird and bad before, but I see Ewok Celebration and Star Wars. And also, a side note, I don't want to watch Star Wars anymore.
Yeah.
It just cures them of it both.
Did I stick that landing, Steve, or did I go too far out there?
You had me worried.
What? It's furry conversion theory. That's
No. This is I don't know that third one from the left is now it's just staring at me, and it's really freaking me out.
Exactly.
I think we need to switch the image here.
Well, the funny thing is when you go back to it, they move a little bit. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's. They do move a little bit. These things do.
Yeah.
And then,
I just toggle back and
if you look on the back, it says Ewok Celebration and Star Wars, and then on the B side is a song called "Do Phone Me."
Yeah, some good low hanging fruit there for you.
Well, I mean, but what is that like? Is that like "Do Phone Me"? Like please phone me?
Please phone me? Yeah.
Is it trying to go on like E.T.? Yeah, I don't know. Do phone me. Oh, okay. Do phone me. Here we go.
This is performed by those Ewoks, by the way.
Yes. If I get copyright striked on this, I'm gonna be so pissed. Oh, do phone me. That's what the kids call a bop, Steve.
All I can see is those Ewoks just dancing.
They're dancing. Now listen, this song is 8 minutes and 37 seconds long, so just strap in. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. That's amazing. That is some really cool music you got going on down here.
Yeah, very Halloween.
Not your typical. You got the cool Halloween party music.
There we go. Awesome.
It's not Thriller and Monster Mash.
Yeah, no.
Right, exactly. How many times
cuts.
you need to hear Monster Mash?
Deep cuts.
Okay, so I've thought about posting this on Facebook, but it was this weird thing where I wanted to say these exact lines. I spend more time than I would like to admit every October thinking about the Transylvania twist. Because, in Monster Mash, Dracula says, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?" And the narrative bravery to have a song that comes out of nowhere that references a song that's never been written.
It doesn't exist, right?
Yeah,
right.
It's like I spend a lot of time I don't mean to. I'm not trying to be funny, right? Like I'm eating Count Chocula or whatever, like you hear the I just think like, what was the Transylvania twist? And I can't stop thinking about the Transylvania twist. So there's no follow-up to that, Steve.
No, I don't know if there is.
Just can't stop thinking about it.
I just can't.
No. We need a distraction for Sky, I think, Duncan.
Yeah.
That's right.
What do you?
Well,
what sounds good to you here?
I think we only really have things to wear. So
yeah.
Now there's still a couple other things there.
Okay.
We can look at the wear
there?
things if you want, but we've got the ghosts. So Halloween's always important to have good ghost stories.
Right.
Except for the Christmas Carol that talks about scary ghost stories being popular at Christmas. I don't quite understand that one. But so one of the few licensed products that shows the Jedi ghosts is the toothbrush there.
Yes.
The Oral-B toothbrush. So if you haven't seen this is a little bit more of a common item. It's not some weird Finnish bootleg. It's a toothbrush. It says Oral-B at the top, and then Star Wars, and it has the images of Sebastian Shaw, Anakin, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Yoda as a Force ghost. And I was under the impression, Duncan, that you could not just buy this toothbrush. Is that correct?
You are correct.
So how would you get this particular toothbrush?
It was only available in a 3-pack.
Right. So I actually, it's one of the rare non-Chewbacca items I have because I just love I love the idea of there being. I mean, what other items were there in the vintage era with the ghosts?
I don't really know of any.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be like a trading card or something along those lines, but it's not an image that gets used very much at all.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And then I had Oscar make me a case, and it's just like 3 times too big. It's anyways.
Yeah, this is one of those odd ones that I would love to track down one day. I just haven't gone for it. But I love the art. Was the art used in larger size on a display, or am I
on the display? Correct.
It is. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course the Anakin card back for the Anakin Skywalker figure is his ghost version also.
Right.
But as far as all 3 of them together or really other place, I don't know that.
Yeah,
hey, Steve. Great. Steve, come over here so he can't hear us. Remember how we said that we would egg anyone's house if they gave us a toothbrush instead of candy for Halloween? So
I thought this might be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we take the toothbrush, right? Because it's cool in Star Wars. But we got.
I did just eat a whole pound of Smarties and down 2 Dr. Peppers, so I probably do need the toothbrush, but
But we're gonna egg
rules
them
are rules.
Yeah,
rules are rules.
Get an egg, Duncan.
Yeah, I guess if that's the rule, I can't argue with that.
Well, what else is there before we get to the costumes? Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I see what you're talking about here. Another bizarre item, which is oddly not as rare as it should be, is the Spanish cap gun, Imperio Galaxy Espacial, which my bubble broke on this. I bought one of these, and again, I got Oscar to make me a case for it. It's way too big. It doesn't fit it even a little bit. But I was that excited about it. I wanted to put it in there. And it's a truly special item, Steve.
Yes.
It has unique art, the most unique art you can possibly have.
Yeah, when I first saw this, it took me a second. My eye was not initially drawn to Darth Vader and the severed head that he's holding. it was to the slightly deranged looking Luke in his red jumpsuit. But no, that Vader with the severed head of Albert Einstein, is that what I'm seeing here?
It's kind of like a zombie head, or it could be Albert Einstein, yeah. Well, the pose obviously is Darth Vader from the B poster, right? The Empire Strikes Back B poster, where he has his hand out, kind of beckoning.
And that one was by Young, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yes,
B poster
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
He's beckoning, but
so
what I love is that the artist clearly ran out of room. So Darth Vader's hand is usually at a certain angle, but here it's like a little bit like curved in to make sure that the lightsaber would fit.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's holding a severed head. I've had a theory about this for a while, which is that this was inspired by Clash of the Titans, because there's a great scene with Perseus and the head of Medusa, and I think he has kind of a Medusa look, So
that makes a lot of sense.
I think Clash of the Titans is an oddly, it's odd for how nostalgic our generation is and all of our toy collectors are. How much we don't talk about Clash of the Titans, because that's a movie which I definitely saw more than Star Wars.
Now, Clash of the Titans was 81, and if this came out in 80, this would predate Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, but other than that.
Hey,
Point
Steve,
stands,
I don't think you can hear us. I think we now need to also throw some toilet paper onto the egg order. Now, I do love Luke in his red jumpsuit, and he's the attention to detail. It's nice. Is instead of having his normal blaster, he has a blaster that just looks like this crappy cap gun.
Right.
Yeah.
And Chewbacca looks weird, and it's Leia in her Hoth outfit, which is pretty cool to see.
And also blue jeans.
Yeah. And the name of the brand is Far Men, which is in sort of a played out like rosewood Far West font. Yeah, it's definitely a very good item.
Well, it's the start of a costume, right? So you have to have your weapon.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
also I think it's the horror item. Yes. Go on, Steve.
Yes. What I guess should we jump into some of the other wearables?
Yeah, let's take a look at some costumes and stuff.
Where do we want to start?
Well, I want to start off with a T-shirt.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, the T-shirt. Yes.
Because I'm a little bit cold down here in the basement. I guess it's kind of controlled. So I don't really know why Duncan showed this, except to just have more fun with Sky describing items.
Right.
That's
very, incorporeal.
Yeah.
Luke, and so that just seemed kind of ghostly as well.
Yeah, he does not look well.
Okay, so it's an image of Luke Skywalker appearing out of the like the blueness. He looks like a hunchback because it's drawn poorly. He's got a green lightsaber. Behind him is a Star Destroyer with green jets because obviously they're trying to save on ink. He has a very bizarre look on his face. Like he looks like a doll. He looks like a dead-eyed doll that's going to come back to haunt you. And he's holding on to his lightsaber, and the detail work on the hand is ridiculous, but not as ridiculous as the detail. Okay, so if you're sitting at home and you haven't seen this image, okay, so we have an Imperial shuttle. We have Luke appearing out of the darkness. We have an Imperial Star Destroyer. We have space. We have TIE fighters. What other character is going to be on this T-shirt? That's right, Bib Fortuna. How did you not guess Bib Fortuna?
Naturally.
And his horrible...
An odd combination for sure.
Yeah, this is a bad 2-pack of a T-shirt.
Right.
Wow, and this is made just by who?
It is an unlicensed one, so it was just a they had a little more free license by not having a license to
a little more surreal.
Ironic. To have free license, they had to have no license.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Now, did you guys ever actually raise hell on Halloween? Did you ever do the eggs or the toilet paper?
I was never that kid. I was
no.
Yeah.
I did not either.
Not only did I not do that, but I really looked down on people who did that. I remember thinking, like, they're giving out free candy, right?
Right, exactly.
This is the one day a year where my habit is treated well. This is like free heroin day for junkies, and you're spending it wrecking people's houses.
Yeah, don't ruin it for the rest of us.
Yeah.
So is now what's left costumes?
Everything left is costumes. That's correct.
All right.
So,
Do a quick fashion show here.
Yeah. Well, can I try on this Stormtrooper costume? Because Stormtrooper is like my favorite character now that I'm younger, and I gotta say, this box. Before you tell me what this box is totally far out. It's got
Right.
Stormtrooper written in a blue font, and the blue font I can only say is Schoolhouse Rock font. So whatever Schoolhouse Rock
exactly
font is, it is that. And then it says Star Wars. The Star Wars logo looks like it was lifted directly from Marvel Comics. It's got the red
Right.
background and the yellow text. I'm kind of on fire right here, boys. I'm really
Yeah, you are.
I'm finding the things. It says play costume with mask. The
Instructions,
mask
yeah.
appears to be a normal enough looking Stormtrooper, but the Stormtrooper on the box
Nah.
is a combination of Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean and a Stormtrooper. It has like all these weird like holes. It's asymmetrical.
Yeah.
It looks like a weird frown. I can't even begin to describe how weird the Stormtrooper looks.
He's got teeth. He's got a giant machine gun.
Yes, he has a weird... It reminds me a little bit of that unlicensed rifle that I got a little while ago that has that bizarre Chewbacca on it that I got in that auction. Yeah, this really looks the most skeletal of any Stormtrooper. Like there's a humanness to its eyes. So what
Yeah.
Tell us about this, Duncan. What is this weird costume?
So this is from Australia, and the company is Croner, Croner. And so they did a couple. They did a Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper costumes. It's very similar to the Ben Cooper ones that we'll look at shortly. But the artwork is pretty wild. And I think, if memory serves, that I actually came across this image one other time in the like an ad for the Star Wars weekly or daily comic strips that were in the newspapers. And I think I saw it there, but I should have researched that some more. But I do believe that that's where I saw that image at one point.
So is this Halloween 77?
Probably 77, 78, yes. Because I don't know when Star Wars would have opened in Australia. But there were costumes in 77, so whether they were in Australia or not, I don't know.
Now, I like being a Stormtrooper, but maybe I want to be a little higher up in the Imperial food chain here. Can I please be whatever this thing is? It's supposed to be Darth Vader.
Right?
But I read enough Spanish. I'm just going to say this here. Diviértete con el nuevo enemigo de He-Man. He-Man? Okay.
All right. I see what's going on
So
here.
it's a Mylar bag with a piece of cardboard stapled onto it. On the far left, there's a picture of... Well, it's a bootleg picture of He-Man. He looks like a cross between Lion-O and He-Man. He doesn't even look that much like He-Man.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
He's got a pointed shield. And then on the right is maybe supposed to be Vader. It's like a Vader mask with like a cloak and a couple of magic wands. The weirdest part is they have a picture of the mask, and it's actually a picture of the mask in the bag. So
it's the product itself.
the mask in the bag is a bad Darth Vader mask, and the picture is a bad Darth Vader mask.
As advertised.
Yeah, as advertised.
Yeah.
It has the entire triangle of the mouth. There's nothing. The eyes, there's nothing. So, like, this would be the scariest costume if you put this on.
Well, then the thing that's also weird about it is if you flip it over, you see what comes with it. It has the sword, but then it has some kind of action figure-sized human attached to it. Now, what is the deal with that?
So that's a Han Bespin action figure with I think it was Han Bespin. I'm pretty sure that is, just really bizarre, isn't it? I mean, so that's action figure sized. He's all single color green plastic in there. But then you have this tiny little sword that's, maybe 6 inches long. and the that's green and doesn't look like anything. And then the Vader mask, like you said, was just terrifying. But it's about maybe 4 or 5 inches tall also. So, I mean, it's not going to fit even a kid. It would fit an infant maybe. And it's that super, super hard plastic that just doesn't give at all. So it wouldn't be even remotely comfortable. I couldn't imagine you could actually wear the thing.
Oh,
so this
that might be the new cursed object. I think.
Right.
So this is
you throw it away and it comes back.
This is from Mexico?
Yes.
Okay.
So
wow.
Okay, how many of these have you seen?
I think that's the only one I've ever seen.
Did they make other? Have you ever seen these figures loose?
Yes.
Okay, so what? So they're just one piece of plastic? Are they molded off of the Kenner figures?
Correct. And I think they would have been available separately also. So I think you could buy them, in little plastic baggies that would be on one of those little strips that would be on a kiosk or something like that.
So what year was this?
Early 80s would be my guess. Mid 80s, something like that. Yeah.
So I don't.
Sometime when.
I don't feel like vintage Mexican bootlegs are very appreciated or known about. Am I crazy on that?
I think within a certain group they are, obviously, but and they're so popular that they get bootlegged. So there's a lot of notorious bootlegging of vintage bootlegs in our modern era.
Maybe I just get that all mixed up because I feel like, like Polish and Turkish and Hungarian and all that is just awesome and totally understood. Whereas I've never consciously looked at a vintage Mexican bootleg and said, oh, that's a vintage Mexican bootleg. I guess I've just always thought that they were all modern, made for collector stuff.
Man, probably pretty tough to sift out. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you really would have to know what you're doing to want to collect those.
Yeah. Well, or just have a lot of money and buy a bunch of fakes. That's another option. Which
and just as long as you're emphatic about it.
Yes. As long as you insist. As long as you get really mad when people say they're fake, they're real.
Right.
That's all it takes.
Well, maybe I don't want to be a part of the Empire, Steve. I think I want to be C-3PO, but I'm not quite sure what kind of C-3PO I want to be.
There's a couple options. It's
choices,
always good to have options.
Do you know what kind of C-3PO I want to be? You know what's my truth?
The Cheryl?
Yeah, the Cheryl.
The Cheryl?
The Cheryl. I want the Cheryl C-3PO outfit. I'm sick of the Debbie C-3PO outfits and the Grace and the Joanna C-3PO outfits. I want the Cheryl. What the? Okay, how do I describe this? It's a tag. Is this just a tag or is this a box?
Is that the box?
That's the box.
Okay, this is a box with a Star Wars logo diagonal in the top up left corner. It says "May the Force be with you" in the bottom left corner. On the top it says the Cheryl C-3PO outfit with C-3PO and R2-D2. It looks like, is this an Empire? No, this is a Star Wars era image.
No, Star Wars.
A little bit odd
Correct.
image of them, not a standard one of him putting his hand on R2-D2's dome. What is a Cheryl C-3PO outfit?
So this is from United Kingdom, and the company is Cheryl Playthings, and they had the license to make kind of a little more upscale costume. So you can see that it's a much nicer looking costume than some of the Ben Cooper ones are.
Is that the costume?
That's the costume, yeah.
Wow.
The 2-piece, and then the mask.
Got a lot of detail. A lot of the
exactly. It's very detailed. Yes.
Detail in the vinyl or
Right.
whatever. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
impressive.
And what other costumes did Cheryl make?
I think that's the only one. I mean, Star Wars wise.
Okay.
That's why it's the Cheryl.
The
C-3PO
Cheryl.
outfit.
This right.
But what else? How else could I dress up like C-3PO if I felt like it?
Well, you could be, if you were in Canada, you could be one of the famous Halloween famous characters.
That's what I've got on right now. It's quite comfortable.
That's right.
Halloween famous caractère fameux d'Halloween. Wait. So
You missed a.
well, see, this really bothers me because characters is in
It's
it should be personnage in French, but maybe French Canadian they just let it go there.
Yeah.
I think they're going for a palindrome look there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works quite nicely. So it's a red box with white stars all over it that says Halloween famous characters, fameux d'Halloween. It says fire retardant, résistant à la flamme, and it says color costume with a mask, and it's in a little box. And just poking through the box, you see a C-3PO mask. Now, is this a different kind of C-3PO mask? If we were to open it up, Duncan?
Yes. So it's not the same as the Ben Cooper one. It's very similar, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of ways you can do C-3PO, but it's a unique mask.
And and it's very, very Canadian with its law to be in a couple languages. How many of these were made? How many different kinds of these were made?
I would imagine there's more than this one. This is the only one I've ever seen, but I would guess that there's probably 3 or 4 that they probably did a Vader and a Chewbacca and a Stormtrooper or maybe a Luke, but I don't know that for sure. Who would know would be Scott Bradley.
He would. And do you know who could tell you if they had a Chewbacca, Duncan?
You?
I could. Yes. One of my favorite moments at any celebration. Shane Turgeon saw me, and he was like, "Sky, I had this. It's a blue box. It looks just like it, but it has Chewbacca on the inside. It's like I had this mask and it's really rare." And I was like, "Okay, this happens all the time, Duncan. If you're not like you and you don't know everything, so you don't know what anything's worth or anything." And he offered it to me for $100, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Let me think about it." It's like, but I need to know because I could sell this like in a second. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I just did what I normally do. I just said, fine. I just gave him the money, and it's been one of my favorite things in my collection ever since because it's this great Halloween famous caractère fameux d'Halloween. It's just a really beautiful thing. So, yes, a Chewbacca does exist. I assumed that they weren't that rare because I figured if I have one, how rare can it be? But that's nice to hear.
Yeah, it's the only one of the series that I have.
And Sky, does your Chewbacca have a similar thing with the 3PO? I don't know if you've seen the inside, but on the 3PO, it's got, instead of the character detail, it has some nice, I don't know about nice, but some imagery from the movie with C-3PO at the center. You got the Death Star in there, R2. Does the Chewie have a similar decorative?
So for next Halloween, we're going to open it up because I've been too afraid to open it up. I just
Oh wow.
I have like several Chewbacca masks that are like rare, but people don't really quite care about them. You know what I mean? So it's like they're rare, but not necessarily that valuable. Like I have some of the French ones, and I have the Canadian ones, and like I have a couple Mexican ones. Like Duncan knows. Like if you don't know, there's so many goddamn costumes all over the world. Like you could just drive yourself mad. You heard, right? Duncan doesn't even know how many there are, and he's collecting everything. So if I had known, Steve, that there was a chance that the inside of my costume would look like this, I'm tempted to go upstairs now and to get it and open it up.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, so it's a picture. So C-3PO mask, and then on the inside is a Death Star, but the Death Star is straight up the Helix pencil sharpener, and C-3PO's in the middle, but he's in front of the Star Wars logo in a really cool way. And there's like the Lars Homestead. You don't see Lars Homestead very much in the vintage day.
No, it's true.
So the thing is, the museum is packed. It's totally full of like stuff because we're moving things around the kitchen. But I think I need to go get it, don't I? Don't I?
Before the night is over.
I'd love to see it.
Okay, yeah. Why don't you guys hang out there? I know. You guys can talk about the next couple costumes, and then I'll hear about it when I edit. I'm going to go up and get the costume. Okay.
All right. So what do we have? What do we have left, Duncan? So are we into Ben Cooper territory yet, or not quite?
We can finish off with the César mask, which is the Tusken Raider mask.
Oh, okay, the Tusken Raider. Okay. So where is this thing from?
That's from France.
From France.
And
okay.
César did a very extensive line of C-3PO, Darth Vader, Tusken Raider, Stormtrooper, Chewbacca, I think, if memory serves. But the interesting thing was that they all are child size with half masks, like your normal Ben Cooper ones, right? That just cover your face, basically. And then kind of a hybrid between like a 3/4 mask and a full mask. So it almost covers your whole back of your head, but just part of it. And then they did that in adults also. So there's really 4 child half mask, child full mask, adult half mask, and adult full mask for all of these characters. So it makes collecting those rather challenging.
Yeah.
And then
I was going to say
they also did a
just
Yoda.
Okay.
Yeah, just a mask. So they didn't come with costumes. There was a French company that did a costume, and I think it was C-3PO. I don't remember the name of the licensee off the top of my head, and I don't have that. Seems like maybe it started with a P. But anyway, and then César did Yoda for Empire. Okay. And then got quiet until the Ewok cartoons came out, and then they did kid costumes or kid masks for Paploo and Wicket, Nisa, how do you pronounce that, and Chief Chirpa, I think. Okay. So kind of interesting that they were there from Star Wars through Ewoks.
Yeah. Okay. But no, like Jedi characters of like the monsters.
But no Jedi characters, as far as I know. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Is that you? No. Okay.
Doesn't sound like he's back.
I hope.
But yeah, there was so many costumes I could have pulled out, but I just decided to not go with too many. But did do a couple of Ben Coopers there.
So I see. Is there an ad here for Ben Cooper? It has a lineup. Okay.
That's right. So this is kind of the line art from their retailer catalog.
Okay.
But I just love the poses that everybody's in there.
Yeah, so we got Yoda sitting casually there. Leia's doing a nice little wave. C-3PO's, I don't know what he's doing exactly, but
kind of jazz hands maybe.
Yeah, jazz hands. That's it. And then Luke's doing the superhero pose.
Yep.
X-wing.
Hands on the hips, and then Chewbacca wanting to give a high five or something there.
And
Yoda's head is too big for his body there too.
Way too big for his body.
So that's the kid that's like 15 and still going trick or treating. He decides to dress up as Yoda.
Okay, so Duncan, Steve, if you go on Facebook to the Star Wars Collectors Archive,
Sky.
Yes, we did. I just got you there, Steve. But
okay. So Sky he's doing a live thing. Maybe he'll have to splice this in. Okay, because I'm watching him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So it's not on a good microphone, but I'm on Facebook Live, and this is a Canadian famous characters box, and apparently even Duncan Jenkins does not have this and did not know it existed. And we're looking at the C-3PO version, which will be featured on the new Kivecast, and it has a crazy image. But I've never opened this up to look at it. I got this at Celebration 4, thanks to Shane Turgeon. We see here on the side it says "Masque avec des yeux géants et costume résistant à la flamme." So it talks about how the mask has giant eyes. Look at that. Look at how giant those eyes are. Now, I'd never seen the back either. Look at this craziness here. Look at that. It's got like a little owl. Are you watching this, Steve?
Yeah. Can you hear it? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. So we got like an owl and a witch. Now, I've never opened this up. However, I am happy / sad to say the bottom of the box did open up. So, first time ever, we will see if there is any cool art on this costume. Wow.
I like the retro art on the back. That's pretty slick.
A very, very small mask. For a scale, look at my giant eyes. This is beautiful craftsmanship. And now I'm going to show what it looks like. Is that just the straight Ben Cooper, Duncan, or what?
No.
No, that does not look like the Ben Cooper. This looks like a much better image than is on the Ben Cooper. Look at the detail. Look at those giant eyes. So, this is a French-Canadian Star Wars Chewbacca costume. To learn more about this and many other items, including Steve and I being locked in Duncan's basement, check out the next Kivecast, which will be released tomorrow, if I can edit it. For some reason, when I went live with my phone, everything just went crazy on the recording for the Kivecast. So
that's all good.
So that's a totally different image, hey Duncan?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought to open it up and look at it. I just was so certain that it would be just the same old thing. Yeah, so it's made by Norbin Products out of Montreal.
Yeah, same company.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And they also did just individual masks too, similar to Ben Cooper, where you could buy just the mask or you could buy the mask and the costume.
So I interrupted you. What you guys were talking about the Yoda costume? Is that right?
So yeah, we were just looking at the line art in the retailer catalog.
Yeah.
Good. Good, we got that out of the way. Phew, I hate talking about line art.
Yeah.
And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I have to go fairly soon, so
okay.
I don't know how.
Well, we're almost out of here, Steve.
We are.
Yeah, we're almost escaped.
You know, why don't we just go to the last one, which is this mask that this weird man with long hair has been wearing over his face the entire time. This sand person. Let's close on that. What is this, Unky Dunky? What is this?
We did this.
Well, Sky, if you'd been here, you would know we'd already did that.
Oh, damn it. Steve, don't you understand there's a narrative structure? I leave for 1 minute.
We totally
find
lost
a rare mask.
Yeah.
So in that case, we can end it with the famous, with me unboxing the costume, which even Duncan didn't know existed. I mean, that's a pretty good way to end it.
I think it is. Also, you know what we should do is plug in or give a plug to an episode we did with Todd Chamberlain that was very, very Ben Cooper heavy. So if you want to learn more about Ben Cooper, I would definitely direct you there. It was one of our Halloween specials from a couple years back, but this has just been amazing, Duncan.
Cool.
Thanks for inviting us and for not killing us and for
Now you can leave the basement. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I promised I'd tell you the story. So I used to trade Grateful Dead tapes, right? Like that used to be. That's instead of collecting toys in the '90s, I traded Grateful Dead tapes. And there was a guy who lived in my hometown who said he had Grateful Dead tapes. And I go into his house, and he has these dogs that are aggressively sniffing my crotch, like they won't get away from it. And they have all these Victoria's Secret catalogs everywhere, and they're just two guys who live in this house by themselves. And he's like, yeah, I've got the tapes. They're in the basement. And so, like, I go down into this, like, nasty basement, and I remember thinking, well, this is it. I'm never coming back again. But then he gave me the tapes, and then we left. So
all is well that ends well.
Yes, all's well ends well. But you have to go take care. We'll stop doing this little play. Thank you so much for giving us the tour. Obviously, we've left, and we're going trick-or-treating with our fun memories and our toothbrushes.
We should spare him the egging. It's just not fair. I think
it's true.
The toilet paper is a little easier to deal with.
That's right. Yep, I can handle that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, cool. Well, thanks so much. Thank this will be a breeze to edit, except for the part where I left.
Awesome. That was fun, guys.
All right.
Happy
Wampa Wampa.
Happy Halloween. Adios.
Right.
Oh my God! Does this blue harvest jacket have blood on it? Oh my God! Does this blue harvest jacket have blood on it? Oh my God! Oh my God! Does this? Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Does this blue harvest jacket have blood on it? Blood on it? Oh my God! Does this blue harvest jacket have blood on it? Oh my God! Have blood on it? Oh my God! Does this blue harvest jacket have blood on it? Oh my God, does this blue harvest jacket have blood on it?